What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing tonight? Craig Hutchinson, thank you for the super chats. I hope you're doing well. Cindy Bueno, thank you so much for the super chat. Poopy McScoopy, how's it going? I see you're in here again tonight. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for the super chat. Greg for President 2024. Kevin Hale, thank you for the super chat. This is very concerning. I have been silenced. How were you silenced? How's everybody doing tonight? So I'm just going to give it about 5 more minutes for everybody to show up. I'm just going to wait a little bit more so everybody gets the notification. Aldo Schmedak, what's going on? Juliana Rose, Lorna, Paula Rodriguez, Kevin Hale said he's glad I have a half bucket of My Patriot Supply. My Patriot Supply is doing a 25% discount right now on their 3 months food supply. So if you use the link preparewithnYprepper.com, you can get 25% off their 3-month food supply, which is a really good deal. 3 months worth of food with a 25-year shelf life. I'd say that's a really good deal. PreparewithnYprepper.com, and you can get $200 off the normal price of their 3-month emergency food supply. So it's definitely worth the money. It's all contained in 6 rugged water-resistant buckets, and it's got a 25-year shelf life. So check it out. They also have a 2-week emergency food supply, which is great for campers and outdoorsmen. And then they have a general store. If you click on the logo at the top, when you get to my page, preparewithnYprepper.com, you click on their logo and they get, and it takes you to their general store here. And their general store has a lot of stuff. They have solar generators, MREs, potassium iodide, emergency radios, survival seeds. I mean, just anything you can imagine. Fire starters. So check them out. PreparewithnYprepper.com. The link is in the description below this video. So I'm going to just give it a little bit more. What's going on, Joe Romanino? How's it going? I hope you're having a good evening. It's good to see you in here. Angie, how's it going, Angie? Keep up the great work. You're my news source. Yes, says you're from Brooklyn, New York. A lot of PA peeps in here tonight, says M. Barris. T.W. Perry, how's it going? Kevin Hale, thanks for the super chat again. I appreciate it. Brandon Chris, how's it going, Brandon Chris? Thanks for the super chat. Simple Cooking, thank you for gifting 10 memberships, or actually 15 memberships. Wow. Thank you so much. That's awesome. So I'm just going to give it another 2 or 3 minutes here. Just going to wait for everybody to show up, and then we'll get started with all the latest breaking news. Just another 2 minutes or so, and I'll get started. Scale Trails Central, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Wow, Alan Ross, thank you so much for the super chat. Here's to 100,000 subscribers. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I hope you're having a great evening. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And Pamela, thank you so much, Pamela. I appreciate it. It's good to see you in here. So we have some major breaking news, lots of breaking news. Things are really getting crazy right now. Lots of stuff going on. So it's going to be a good long stream. I have a lot of news to get through, but we have some serious stuff going on right now. All right, guys. So we're going to get started here very soon. Debbie Lynn, thank you for the super chat, Debbie Lynn. I hope you're having a great evening. And Simple Cooking, have I heard anything about a Navy ship being hit? I don't know if you're talking about the one yesterday or if there was a new one. I haven't heard about any ships being hit today, but obviously there was one that had drones launched towards it the other day. So I heard about that, but I did not hear about anything today. So we'll get started here right now. Just wanted to show my face. I know some people don't like to show their face. They like to stay anonymous, but I have a lot of new subscribers in the last couple of months that don't know what I look like. So this is what I look like, in case you guys were wondering. So we're going to get started with the news now. So we have some major breaking news coming in. Apparently, there's been explosions in Yemen tonight, and we know that Yemen is the country where missiles and drones were launched from towards three civilian cargo ships in the Red Sea yesterday, and also drones were launched towards an American warship. So that's pretty serious, guys. And the missiles actually hit those civilian cargo ships, and several drones were launched towards our warship, the USS Carney. And as far as I know, the Biden administration is not doing anything about it just yet. But it's possible that they're planning something right now. So let me just read to you some of the information about these explosions being reported in Yemen. So apparently there were eyewitnesses in the capital of Yemen this evening in Sana'a that witnessed 5 violent explosions, okay, in the Yemen capital. And according to preliminary information, drones targeted Houthi drone factories and storage sites in Al Sabaha and Jabal Aiba. Okay. So these are unconfirmed reports right now that 5 explosions in the capital of Yemen. Apparently, some drones were launched towards where the Houthi rebels keep their drones and where they have factories for those drones. And we have the Jerusalem Post reporting that the attack is attributed to Israel. So let me share this with you guys. Okay, you can see this was posted today, or actually, today. You can see here Jerusalem Post breaking news. Echoes of explosions were heard in the capital, Sana'a. The attack was attributed to Israel. So it's very possible that Israel took matters into their own hands rather than waiting for the Biden administration to do something. And maybe they just decided to launch drones or whatever. We don't know. It's too early to say. But if this is true, this is pretty serious. Angie, thank you for gifting 5 memberships, Angie. I hope you're doing well. So this is pretty serious, guys. This is pretty. It's escalating. It's going beyond just Israel and Gaza. It's spreading to other areas now, and it's just going to keep spreading. We have the breaking news earlier this morning that came out that Venezuela voted to annex the western part of Guyana, and Guyana recently was discovered that they have a massive oil deposit in Guyana. Okay, worth 11 billion barrels of oil apparently in Guyana. And so obviously Venezuela, they don't want Guyana to become an oil powerhouse and threaten their status as an oil powerhouse. So now they want to invade Guyana, supposedly because 200 years ago, the British took the western part of Guyana away from Venezuela. So they're going all the way back 200 years to justify an attack or an invasion on another country. That's how desperate they are for any reason just to invade, But major breaking news, okay, emergency alert. Explosions reported tonight in the capital of Yemen. As many as 5 explosions, okay? So we'll have to wait and see. We'll find out more details about this probably in the coming hours and probably tomorrow, but wanted to just report this to you guys. Mary Beth Hammond, thank you for the super chat. Thanks, Cousin Greg, for all your hard work. No problem, Mary Beth. I appreciate your support and your super chats. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So what you're looking at here, wait, let me actually change my screen. So what you're looking at here is all the U.S. military planes over the U.S., not all of them, but a good amount of them. And we have another nuclear war command and control plane up in the air. This is the 5th one that was airborne today, and it's currently flying over Utah. Okay, there were 4 in the air earlier. Now we have a fifth one in the air, and we also have another B-52 in the air right now, flying over northern Minnesota. And if you didn't see my update from earlier today, I'll just kind of summarize what I discussed. But basically, we had 4 nuclear war command and control planes in the air earlier, plus a B-52. And one of those nuclear war command and control planes turned its transponder off when it was flying over Missouri, which is pretty unusual. And then also, what was really fascinating, and I've never seen this before, is the B-52 flew like directly towards one of the nuclear war command and control planes, almost like they were playing chicken or something. And they flew like straight towards each other and then past each other. I'll show you guys. I have the screenshots. It's really bizarre. But 5 nuclear war command and control planes in the air today, guys. Okay. This one right here that's up in the air now was doing loops off the coast of San Francisco here, probably dropping its antenna, communicating with our submerged nuclear-armed submarines, the Ohio-class subs. And these planes are responsible for remotely launching all of our Minuteman III ICBMs. And they're also responsible for communicating with our submarines, like I said. And in the event of a nuclear war, these planes are critical because we have fixed transmitter sites in Washington and Maine and Hawaii and also in Australia. And those fixed transmitter sites would get taken out in a nuclear war. Those would be one of the first targets in a nuclear war to try to eliminate our ability to give orders to our nuclear forces. Now, if we didn't have these planes, we would be screwed because once those transmitter sites get taken out, we wouldn't be able to give orders out to our nuclear forces. So these planes have antennas on them and they can communicate with our forces, so they're critical. And for there to be 5 up in the air in one day is very unusual, especially one turning its transponder off, plus 2 B-52s in the air is pretty unusual also at the same time as all the nuclear warplanes. So something could be going on. Maybe we're getting ready to launch a big attack on Yemen. That's very possible, and maybe they're getting everything prepared for that. A retaliatory strike on Yemen because of what they did the other day, yesterday. So I'm going to share some screenshots with you guys, but this is pretty serious what's going on right now in the Middle East and with Venezuela, Guyana, the Korean Peninsula, Eastern Europe. There's just so much going on. It's just crazy, guys. So let me just share some screenshots with you, show you guys what happened earlier here. So let's see. So here we have the 3 nuclear war command and control planes that were airborne. And there's a 4th one that's not in this screenshot here. But it's not in the screenshot because it had its transponder off. So there were 4 in the air. One of them had its transponder off. And then here's the B-52 flying over South Dakota, Nebraska area. And let me just show you guys. And then here's the 4th one. It had the call sign Barn 21. So Barn 21 flew over Missouri, and then it turned its transponder off sometime once it got over Missouri. And I'll show you guys that right here. Let me show you. Okay, so here's the 4th one today. And you can see that it turned its transponder back on in Kansas. So it flew over Missouri, shut its transponder off, was flying over Kansas, and then turned its transponder back on shortly before landing. Here's one of them that was flying over the Atlantic, and this one actually flew over Beckley, West Virginia, which is really strange because Beckley is a very small town. There's nothing really there. It's kind of it's kind of a place for tourists. There's the New River Gorge nearby. A lot of hikers and backpackers go there. And it flew really low over Beckley. It's a beautiful area here. I've actually driven through this area. It's really nice hills here, but it flew really low over Beckley. There's literally nothing here unless there's some kind of secret bunker, but very unusual. Okay, very unusual. And here we have the B-52 flying towards the nuclear war command and control plane. You can see here they were both flying in a straight line, and they passed each other at some point. They flew like in a straight line, almost like head on, like they were going to crash, and then they passed each other. So this is the point where they just passed each other. I've never seen this before. It's very unusual. If anybody has any ideas as to why they would do that, feel free to contact me. You can use the contact form on my website. Here's another shot of the B-52 and the nuclear war command and control plane flying towards each other over western Iowa. Okay, you see that? I mean, this is just really strange. I've never seen that before. But 5 nuclear war command and control planes, guys, plus explosions heard in Yemen. It's absolutely insane what's going on around the world. It's just nonstop news. It's really hard to keep up with everything. So I'm going to continue with some of the breaking news here. Let's see. The Wall Street Journal, according to U.S. officials, is saying that Israel is preparing a system of large pumps to flood the Hamas tunnel network in the Gaza Strip with seawater. According to the report, Israel built a system of 5 large pumps north of the Shadi refugee camp, with which it can transfer thousands of cubic meters of water per hour into the tunnels and flood them within a few weeks. According to American officials, Israel notified the U.S. at the beginning of November about this project and completed its construction in mid-November. American officials told the newspaper that they do not know how close Israel is to completing the program and whether it has finally decided in favor of using it. According to them, it is not clear how successful the plan will be since no one knows all the details of the tunnels and the land around them and how the seawater will drain through the tunnels. They also added that there are American officials who expressed concern about the program. The IDF refused to comment on the newspaper's inquiry regarding the project, but stated that they are working with a variety of methods to dismantle Hamas's capabilities. So this is crazy, guys. Israel's going to flood those tunnels, the Hamas tunnels. They're going to flood them with seawater. It's a pretty smart idea. That's really their best option at this point. Unless they can't because of the hostages. That's the only thing. But it's a crazy situation what's going on over there. So let me just continue here with more breaking news. Let me just show you what we have going on over the Middle East right now. We currently have a strato tanker that was flying over the Persian Gulf, and it turned its transponder off when it got close to Kuwait, or maybe it lost reception. Pretty quiet over the Persian Gulf right now. And we have an RQ-4 Global Hawk patrolling Romania and Moldova area. We haven't seen this in a while. This caught my attention. You can see it was flying in the Black Sea. It actually flew all the way near Georgia, which is pretty unusual, near Sochi. And it might have had its transponder off here, because normally you can see these things flying in the Black Sea, but maybe it had its transponder off. So the Russians wouldn't try to take it down, because they did that before. They took it down before. So this is pretty interesting. And then it flew up here, and it was doing loops along the border with Moldova. So this is pretty unusual. It's flying a really tight pattern here, kind of parallel to the Moldova border, but also near Crimea. I can see this whole area here, Odessa. This is where all the grain terminals are along the Romanian border here, where Russia has been hitting them with missiles, and some of them even landed in Romanian territory a few months back. This is pretty unusual, guys. So I'm going to continue to monitor this. And let me just show you the situation here. I'll just leave this up while I read some news off to you guys. So pretty crazy. Israel's going to try to flood the Hamas tunnel network. And apparently a senior Hamas official was killed in southern Gaza recently. According to reports, the senior Hamas official, Nazar Awadallah, is the guy who was killed, okay, in Khan Yunis. Now, Israel has been pounding southern Gaza this evening. Apparently over 100 airstrikes in Khan Yunis and Rafah, which is like right on the border with Egypt. So Israel's pounding southern Gaza right now. It looks like the next phase of the operation is going to begin, and they're going to go into southern Gaza. And that's when we could really see things get crazy because, there's a lot of civilians there. And I think this could be the thing that really gets the jihadists going wild, is Israel invading southern Gaza. Northern Gaza was bad enough for them, but now going after southern Gaza, it's going to really set them off. So get prepared, guys. I have a really, really bad feeling that we could see another 9/11 type situation here in the U.S. Because the Biden administration is showing so much weakness to all these enemies of ours, and so now they feel like they can do anything and just get away with it. So we have U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan saying today that the U.S. is currently attempting to build a maritime task force of partner nations to provide protection to commercial shipping in the Red Sea and the Bab al-Mandab Strait as a result of recent attacks by the Houthi terrorist organization in Yemen. And U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said, "We are continuing consultations with allies about responding to Houthi attacks on ships." Okay, so looks like the U.S. is currently figuring out how to respond to what happened yesterday. They haven't decided yet, maybe, but it looks like they're having consultations with allies about responding. Okay, so it's possible we could see a massive strike any hour, any day. We'll have to wait and see. We'll see if Biden is going to do anything. He doesn't have a good track record with responding to these jihadists. They seem to just let them do whatever. And they've attacked our bases, over 100 attacks on U.S. bases. Basically, they haven't been punished for that. They've hit us like 100 times, and we've only hit them like a half a dozen times. So that's not good. Okay. I mean, we're letting them get away with murder, literally. I mean, they're attacking ships. They're attacking our bases. It's just absolutely insane. So, let's see here. What else do I have? See, I got some pictures here I wanted to share with you. So we have some U.S. naval forces moving out from Norfolk today. Apparently, the USS George Washington, which is a Nimitz-class aircraft carrier, left Norfolk today. Destination is not known. And then the USS Helena, a Los Angeles-class Flight 2 nuclear attack submarine, also left Norfolk. Okay, so here's a picture of the USS George Washington. And one thing you'll see is that it has an empty flight deck. There's no planes on this thing. So I don't know if they're just sending this thing out to go somewhere so it can act as like a floating base, basically, and a floating air base for either Israel or some other country. But you don't send out an empty aircraft carrier. That's pretty weird. So this could be like a backup aircraft carrier that could be used for Allied fighter jets to land on. Because if you have a fully loaded aircraft carrier, you obviously don't have room on that aircraft carrier for other planes to land on it, besides the planes that are already made for that aircraft carrier. They have to land, so you can't accommodate more planes than what you already have. So by sending an empty aircraft carrier, this thing can function as a floating Air Force base, essentially. So they can position this thing anywhere, and our allies can land on it with their fighter jets, whether it's Israel, South Korea, whoever, NATO countries. This is like a floating air base, essentially. So this is pretty strange. And here's the nuclear attack sub that left Norfolk. Okay. So I don't know if that's the Chesapeake Bay Bridge in the background. You can see what looks like a bridge in the background there. But there you have it, guys. Okay, so the U.S. is moving some assets around. And apparently communications and internet was cut off in the southern part of the Gaza Strip after heavy Israeli air raids today, especially in Khan Yunis. Let me show you guys. I have a picture here of one of the airstrikes in southern Gaza. But this is literally right on the border with Egypt. So Israel is moving into southern Gaza. They're getting ready to go in on the ground. They're starting with the airstrikes, but they're going to go in on the ground afterwards, just like they did in the north. Okay. So what we're seeing here is just the softening up. They're launching these strikes before they actually go in on the ground. So let's see, what other news do I have for you guys? Let's see here. So much news. I'm trying to go through all my notes here. It's just insane how much news there is. U.S. officials are frustrated by the Biden administration's response to attacks in the Red Sea. An hours-long firefight involving U.S. commercial vessels in the Red Sea this weekend has left some U.S. officials frustrated by what they see as the Biden administration's deliberate downplaying of a major threat to U.S. forces. A U.S. Navy warship scrambled to respond to multiple distress calls on Sunday as Houthi rebels in Yemen launched missiles and drones against 3 separate commercial vessels. The USS Carney fired back, taking down 3 unmanned aerial systems. Defense Department spokespeople and top administration officials, including National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, have said the U.S. cannot assess that the Carney was the target of the attacks. Similarly, after previous Houthi drone and missile attacks on commercial shipping in the past weeks, the Pentagon said officials did not believe the Houthis were aiming for U.S. warships, which I don't believe. I think that's a lie. They're trying to downplay it, but I think they were aiming at our ships. But 4 other officials with knowledge of the discussions said in interviews that U.S. naval forces are clearly under threat in the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf. If our ships see something is coming near them or toward them, they are going to assess it as a threat and shoot it down, said one DoD official, who, like others in this story, was granted anonymity to discuss a sensitive topic. You'd be hard-pressed to find another time U.S. ships have been this challenged in the region. Okay, so this is what a DOD official said. He said, "You'd be hard pressed to find another time that U.S. ships have been this challenged in the region." Okay, so this basically what they're saying is this is unprecedented, the amount of attacks on U.S. warships in the last few weeks. A separate U.S. official argued the administration was downplaying the seriousness of the situation in the Red Sea in order to avoid escalating tensions in a region that's already on edge over the conflict between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. People are thinking this is an Israel thing, and because they are heavy-handed in Gaza, no one is saying anything, the official said. The world should be condemning this. A second U.S. official acknowledged that the U.S. has taken pains to say it does not know whether the Carney was the target because it is trying to avoid unnecessary escalation, but the official also pointed out that the administration has deliberately left some wiggle room and has not said definitively that the warship was not targeted. We are not hesitating to take action against forces or militia groups that could be a threat to our forces, the official said. Some DoD officials have said explicitly that the increase in attacks on commercial shipping is an escalation. Admiral Christopher Grady, vice chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, highlighted the attacks on international shipping in the Red Sea as a big deal. Grady said this is very much an expansion of perhaps the larger conflict between Israel and Hamas, a contrast to recent comments by Pentagon spokespeople that previous Iran-backed attacks are separate and distinct from the conflict in Gaza. This is not just a U.S. problem. This is an international problem, Grady said at an event in Washington on Monday. There's undoubtedly an Iranian hand in this, so this looks a little bit like horizontal deflection. So pretty crazy, guys. This is what Politico is reporting. Politico is reporting that U.S. officials are frustrated by the Biden administration's response to the attacks in the Red Sea. Okay, so there's a rift there, between the U.S. Department of Defense and Biden. Okay, so it's a crazy situation. Dan Zarks, how's it going, Dan Zarks? Thanks for the donation. I thought fighter jets have to be purpose built. Regular fighters can't land on aircraft carriers due to inadequate landing gear and no tailhooks for the arresting cables. Well, yeah, I mean, they have to be purpose built, yes. And just remember, though, that all U.S. allies, especially NATO allies, their fighter jets are all configured to land on aircraft carriers. So Israeli F-16s, Israeli F-35s, NATO F-16s, NATO F-35s, F-18s. Okay, so yeah, our NATO allies, they have the same planes as we do, and their planes are already configured for it, so that's not an issue. But thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. I hope you're having a great evening. Michi, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for what's going on here. Thank you for going through all the information and breaking it down to give us the most important stuff. We appreciate you. God bless. Thank you, Michi. I appreciate that. So be prepared, guys. This coming holiday season, we could see terror attacks here in the U.S. possibly. So be on high alert. And according to a New York Times report, Hamas fired a rocket at an Israeli strategic military base on October the 7th, where Israeli nuclear warheads are kept. So there's actually a video here. I'll share with you guys this video. Apparently, Hamas fired rockets at this nuclear weapons storage facility in Israel when the invasion, when Hamas attacked Israel I don't know if you'd call that an invasion, but so this is like a before and after. So here you can see scorched earth over here. This was on October the 8th, so the day after. And then in August, you can see it was green over here. It was green grass. So pretty interesting. So it's kind of scary, actually. So there you have the scorched earth on October the 8th. And then before October the 8th, you can see it was all green. So pretty interesting. And let me continue with the news here. A delegation with the French government will reportedly arrive in Israel sometime later this week in a last-ditch effort to prevent a war between Israel and Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. Israeli officials have stated that they are willing to participate in negotiations, but that the time to do so is limited. So the French government sending a delegation for a last-ditch effort to prevent a war between Israel and Hezbollah. Okay, so it looks like we could be on the verge of some kind of major war, between Israel and Hezbollah. It's just crazy how much news there is coming in. Let's see here. Vladimir Putin kind of threatened Latvia today. He said if Latvia continues to treat people who want to live there like pigs, the authorities in Riga will soon face a retaliatory attitude. Wow, strong words there from Putin, basically talking about the Russians that are living in Latvia. He's basically saying that if Latvia continues to treat them like pigs, then Latvia will face a retaliatory attitude. So, I know the Baltics are part of NATO, and a lot of people think Russia would never attack NATO. But anybody who thinks that, I encourage you to, rethink that, because, I don't think they care that Latvia is part of NATO. They know Latvia doesn't have much of a military. They know NATO's afraid of Russia. Just based on the war in Ukraine, you can see that, we haven't really done much negatively to Russia besides sanctions. I mean, we haven't attacked Russia with weapons or anything. They know that our government is afraid of escalation. So the Baltics are very vulnerable. And Poland is warning NATO that they have 3 years to prepare for an attack by Russia. This was reported by the Polish chief of the National Security Council. He said that Poland has, or NATO has 3 years to prepare the eastern flank for a war. Okay, so it's pretty crazy, guys. Let's see here. New fears of Russian escalation across Europe have emerged after a German think tank said Western countries must prepare for a direct attack from Russia. In a statement, the German Council on Foreign Relations wrote, with its imperial ambitions, Russia represents the greatest and most urgent threat to NATO countries. Once intensive fighting will have ended in Ukraine, the regime in Moscow may need as little as 6 to 10 years to reconstitute its armed forces. Within that time frame, Germany and NATO must enable their armed forces to deter and, if necessary, fight against Russia. Only then will they be in a position to reduce the risk of another war breaking out in Europe. But the head of Poland's National Security Council estimated that Russia could attack NATO countries within 3 years. In an interview with Nasz Dziennik, that's a newspaper in Poland, Jacek Siewiera suggested that an attack could come from NATO's eastern flank, which includes countries such as Poland, Estonia, Romania, and Lithuania. He estimated they had 3 years to prepare for a confrontation. The minister said that analysts at the German think tank were too optimistic. If we want to avoid war, NATO countries on the eastern flank should adopt a shorter 3-year time horizon to prepare for confrontation. This is the time when a potential must be created on the eastern flank that could be a clear signal deterring aggression. Therefore, it is necessary to further increase the number of Polish troops. So, pretty concerning, guys. This is the head of Poland's National Security Council. He's not a dummy. He has access to all the intelligence information that Poland has, okay? That's like the equivalent of Jake Sullivan in Poland, okay? So he's got intelligence, and for him to say 3 years, that's pretty concerning. I mean, Poland is right on the front lines with this war, so they know a thing or two about, Russia, considering that, Russia's invaded Poland before. So, Jeff B says, Greg, all carriers leave port with no aircraft. The ship would ground. Interesting. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Dan Zarks says, I'm traveling from Omaha, Iowa to Fargo, North Dakota, up I-29. Should I keep my eyes up for any command and control planes? Yeah, I mean, right now I don't see any flying over that area. You might see that B-52. Actually, it's doing loops over Fargo. So you might see it doing loops over Fargo. It's at 24,000 feet, so it's a few miles up in the air, but you may potentially see it. I don't know. It's flying pretty high. It's actually circling right over Fargo, this B-52. It's actually very unusual to see that. So here you can see it's looping right over Fargo. So that's pretty weird. But yeah, if you're in Fargo, keep your eyes to the skies. Maybe you'll see that B-52. Greg, the NSGA base in West Virginia is called Sugar Grove. That is why the plane was over West Virginia. Well, I know Sugar Grove, but is Sugar Grove near Beckley? Let me see. Where is Sugar Grove? I know where Sugar Grove is. That's the listening area, the listening post, the NSA listening post. But I don't think that's near where this thing was flying. No, yeah, that was in a different area. Sugar Grove is further south, or further east. Let me see. Yeah, no, it didn't fly over Sugar Grove is very far away. Sugar Grove is like 100 miles from Beckley. Sugar Grove is close to Shenandoah National Park. Beckley is further south. So yeah, no, I don't think it was because of Sugar Grove, but thank you for the super chat and thank you for sharing that information. I appreciate it. And I hope you're having a great evening. Sharon says multiple people have said troops are being sent out and their families being told to store water. Do I know anything about it? Yeah, I reported that last night. That's supposedly the Moody Air Force Base in Georgia. I can't confirm 100% if that's true or not, but there were rumors about that. So I can't confirm right now if that's true or not, though. Ingrid Perez, how's it going, Ingrid? Loving the video and live stream combos. I literally get 90% of my updates for what's going on from you. Great job keeping up with the current stuff and posting it as soon as possible. No problem, Ingrid. Thank you for your support. Re-M says, Greg, you rock. Arlington had a big house explosion. Yeah, I heard about the explosion in Arlington. There was the house in Philadelphia. I reported it earlier in my update earlier today. I don't know if you guys heard about that, but if you go back and watch my update, I go into detail. But there was basically a guy in Philadelphia yesterday that had an IED, a pipe bomb, and a drum full of some kind of chemical in his house. And he also had like bomb making instructions. Okay, this was in Philadelphia. So, guys, I'm telling you, be very, very careful this coming holiday season. Okay, be very careful. If you have to go to New York City, if you have to go to Chicago, LA, all these big cities, be on high alert. Okay, try to avoid going to these places. Okay, don't go if you don't have to, and if you do have to go, then be aware of your surroundings. Have a bug out bag. Have a plan. What are you going to do if things get crazy? Maybe carry some emergency medical equipment like a tourniquet and an Israeli bandage. Carry a self-defense tool if you can. Carry a flashlight. Um, just basic stuff like that. And just be aware of your surroundings. Know where the exits are. Be aware of cover and concealment. Keep your eyes out for cover and concealment. So if something happens, you can hide behind something to protect you or hide from your attacker. Linda Atkins, thank you for the super chat. Time is up. Jesus, free gift that never stops giving. Amen. 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 We have to put our trust in Jesus Christ. Maliaka Natama says, stupid to go to New York. Don't do it. Yeah, especially on the holidays. Oregon Preparedness, how's it going? Great to see you in here. 10 years ago, we had a mall shooting in Portland during Christmas season. Wow. That's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. Let me just continue with the news here. What else do we have? Lots of news. Venezuelans approved takeover of oil-rich region of Guyana. Venezuelans voted by a wide margin Sunday to approve the takeover of an oil-rich region in neighboring Guyana, the latest escalation in a long-running territorial dispute between the two countries fueled by the recent discovery of vast offshore energy resources. The area in question, the densely forested Essequibo region, amounts to about two-thirds of Guyana's national territory and is roughly the size of Florida. Sunday's largely symbolic referendum asked voters if they agreed with creating a Venezuelan state in the Essequibo region, providing its population with Venezuelan citizenship and incorporating that state into the map of Venezuelan territory. Wow. In a news conference announcing preliminary results from the first tranche of counted votes, the Venezuelan National Electoral Council said voters chose yes more than 95% of the time on each of 5 questions on the ballot. It is unclear what steps Venezuela's government would take to enforce its claim, however. Venezuela has long claimed the land which it argues was within its borders during the Spanish colonial period. It dismisses an 1899 ruling by international arbitrators that set the current boundaries when Guyana was still a British colony, and Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has cast the referendum in anti-imperialist sentiment on social media. Guyana has called the move a step towards annexation and an existential threat. Last week, Guyanese President Irfan Ali visited troops in the Essequibo region. Let's see here. I just lost my spot. And dramatically hoisted a Guyanese flag on a mountain overlooking the border with Venezuela. The International Court of Justice, based in The Hague, ruled before the vote that Venezuela shall refrain from taking any action which would modify the situation that currently prevails in the territory in dispute. It plans to hold a trial in the spring on the issue, following years of review and decades of failed negotiations. Venezuela does not recognize the court's jurisdiction on the issue, however. So this is crazy, guys. Absolutely insane. We could have a war right in our backyard. Let me show you guys the map here so you can see what we have going on. here in South America. Okay, so this is South America here, and here you have Venezuela and Guyana. And you can see Venezuela is a large country, Guyana is very small. And basically, this entire western section here, Venezuela wants to take it, okay? And you can see that it's all just dense jungle. There's no roads that go through this area. This is very sparsely populated. It's all jungle, except this little part of Brazil here. This is all savanna here, okay? This is all savanna, and there's some dirt roads that connect Guyana to Brazil here. You can see all these little roads, but these roads are very, very, I would call them like off roads. Okay, so they're not, well paved. Look, this is the condition of these roads. I'm sure when it rains, it's probably muddy as hell. This is actually looks like a fun road to drive on with my pickup truck. Do some mudding here. Okay, you can see it's kind of boggy, kind of flat. But that's what these roads look like over there. But they could easily get tanks through here. Here's another road. It's basically like dirt. But they could use this to move equipment from Venezuela to Guyana. So they've already. Brazil has already moved their forces to this area to prevent Venezuela from going through this area here. Okay, you can see it's all savannas here. It's all open country here, open terrain. It's not jungly here. It's dry and more savannas, as you can see. So Brazil has already moved their equipment there to prevent Venezuela from cutting through that area. Mud and Munitions, what's going on, dude? Good to see you. Those roads do look fun to do some 4x4 on. Yes, they do. Lots of little mud spots and ruts and stuff. So I'm going to continue on with the news here. We have a lot of news to get through, so I'm going to try to get through it as fast as possible. See, what else do we have here? U.S. funding for Ukraine set to run out by the end of the year. That's pretty big news there. See, what else do we have? The president of Cuba went to Iran and met with the Ayatollah Khomeini and the Iranian president. So that's pretty interesting. It's actually a pretty beautiful area here. Look at this. It's pretty nice. Some of these areas here in South America are very unspoiled. Look at the scenery here. Looks like they do have one paved road here with a double yellow on it. Okay, so there are some paved roads, but not a whole lot. But that's what it looks like near the border with Guyana and Venezuela. Michael Murphy, thank you for the super chat. Isaiah 17 and Jeremiah 49, keep your eyes on Damascus. Yes, that's right. Damascus is a major player in the end times. We definitely have to keep our eyes on Damascus, definitely. Thanks for the reminder on that. Let's see what this B-52 is doing now. Looks like the B-52 is going back to Minot. That's what it looks like. And the Nuclear War Command and Control plane is heading south to New Mexico. Looks like we have something going on here down by San Diego. We have some, looks like we have an aerial refueler and a Sentry, an E3 Sentry. That's pretty weird. Down here, heading down towards the Baja Peninsula. Pretty unusual. This is actually the area where the fighter pilots saw the UFO down in this area here, right off the coast of San Diego. That's where David Fravor had that encounter with the UFO. They had the carrier strike group was out here doing drills, and they saw that round object that flew like super fast. He said it covered like 60 miles in like seconds. In like a split second, it just covered like 60 miles. And he said it was like performing crazy feats that we don't. There's nothing that we have that would be able to do that. But looks like something's going on down here. We got a bunch of aerial refuelers. We got some more over here. Looks like they might be taking off right now, heading down to the area. So we'll keep an eye on that. So let's see. We have a nuclear site that was hacked by groups linked to Russia and China. The Sellafield nuclear site in the UK, which is the most hazardous nuclear site in the UK, was hacked into by cyber groups closely linked to Russia and China. Wow, that's pretty concerning. Pretty concerning, guys. A lot of hacks going on. And the UK government is now denying that. They're saying that there's no evidence of that, which, obviously that's what they're going to do. Sellafield in Cumbria is a former power station that now processes nuclear waste from across Britain dating back decades, a task that makes it the most hazardous location in the country. Officials are said to be unaware when the site was first hacked, but came across sleeper malware, which can be used to spy or attack systems as far back as 2015. So they put some kind of spyware, like a backdoor on their systems to collect information and gain a foothold into the network as far back as 2015. It is not clear if this malware is still present in computer systems, with its existence allegedly covered up by senior staff. Sources told The Guardian that they fear foreign operatives have accessed the highest levels of confidential material at the 2 square mile site. Sellafield said it had no records or evidence that Sellafield had been successfully attacked by state actors. So let's just show you guys where this is. Actually, we'll look on the map shortly here. We'll zoom in and take a closer look at this thing, but it's a nuclear waste processing facility. Okay, in the UK, hacked by groups linked to Russia and China. Absolutely insane. Let's look on the map and check this thing out from the air. It's always good to look at the map and get a picture for where things are. And let's see, where is this thing? Yeah, there it is, Sellafield. This is Sellafield right here. So they apparently hacked into this thing. So this is where it is. Okay. It's actually not too far from where Britain has their nuclear armed subs in Fastlane in Scotland. Where is that? That's up here, I think. Fastlane is somewhere up here. But this is where that nuclear station is that got hacked. So pretty interesting. Pretty concerning. Here's a street view. There it is right there. Nuclear waste. This is where the UK puts all their nuclear waste here. You can see that big dome down there. Look at that dome. Some kind of containment dome and some kind of a tower here, like an observation tower. That's pretty interesting. Wesley Malmberg, thank you for the super chat. Greg, do you think China is influencing Venezuela to benefit BRICS nations and again divide U.S. forces? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mentioned that last night. Oh, yeah, I have no doubt about it. Yeah, Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, Venezuela, all those countries together, they're working together, obviously. They're allies. So anything they can do to spread America thin, spread NATO thin, they're going to do it. Like I personally believe that Putin was involved with the Hamas attack on Israel. I've heard rumors that Putin gave Hamas $100 million to attack Israel for the purpose of basically opening up another front for NATO and the U.S. to deal with, so they're not focused so much on Ukraine. And now it makes sense that Venezuela would suddenly attack Guyana, and then maybe at the same time North Korea is going to attack South Korea. If that all pops off at once, that would cause chaos. This is basically World War, guys. I mean, this is the beginning stages of World War. So thank you, Wesley Malmberg. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Turn your filters off and look at all the C-130s flying off the coast of Southern California heading towards Guyana. That's a good idea. I'll definitely do that. Let me see here. I have my filters off, so I don't see any C-130s. Oh yeah, I see them now. Looks like for some reason it was. Yeah, I see that. Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. Check this out. Wow. Yeah, we got a bunch of C-130s here. I don't know if they're going to Guyana or not, but that's very interesting. Good catch. Good catch. Let me switch back here. So, yeah, we have a bunch of planes going south. Maybe they're going to Guyana. We'll see. But look over here, guys. Check this out. We have a whole bunch of C-130s going south along the Baja Peninsula in California. Look at this, guys. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 C-130s. Look at that. That's just insane. And then we have an AWACS. We have an AWACS also. And we also have an aerial refueler. So, yeah, they could be going to Guyana. It's a little too early to say where they're going, but it seems like it could be going towards Guyana. Absolutely. That's a great catch. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. A C-130 is a cargo plane, a military cargo plane. It's a rotary wing aircraft. It has propellers, Yeah, Ingrid Perez says, holy cow, that's a lot. Smoking Swamp Outdoors, how's it going? Thanks for showing up. It's good to see you in here. I hope you're having a good evening down there in Florida. Montana Deb, how's it going, Montana Deb? Good to see you. Brandy M, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for responding to my husband Wesley. No response needed for this one. Thank you, Brandy. I appreciate that. Aldo Schmedek, how's it going? So yeah, that's crazy, guys. Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate that. So very serious situation going on. Guyana, Venezuela, just lots and lots of stuff going on. We have some breaking news coming out of Russia. Ukraine's spy agency staged 2 successive explosions on a railroad line in Siberia that serves as a key conduit for trade between Russia and China, Ukrainian media reported Friday. The attacks underscored Moscow's vulnerability amid the war in Ukraine. Ukrainska Pravda and other news outlets claimed the security service of Ukraine conducted a special operation to blow up trains loaded with fuel on the Baikal-Amur main line, which runs from southeastern Siberia to the Pacific Ocean in the Russian Far East. The media cited unidentified sources in Ukrainian law enforcement agencies, a regular practice in claims of previous attacks in Russia. So this is interesting. The first explosion hit a tanker train in the Severo-Nomyuski tunnel in Buryatia early Thursday, causing a fire that took hours to extinguish, Russian news outlets said. The 15-kilometer tunnel in southern Siberia is the longest in Russia. Wow. Very interesting. So that's pretty serious, guys. They took out a train connecting Russia to China. That's pretty interesting. Let's see. We have some updates from U.S. Central Command. I forgot to share this with you guys. U.S. Central Command. Let me see here. This is pretty interesting here. Wow, this is insane, guys. Give me one moment. I actually want to take a screenshot of this for my records here. I want to get a screenshot of all these C-130s and the AWACS because this is pretty crazy. I'm going to be following this all night, but I haven't seen this before. This is crazy. Let's see. This is insane. Yeah, and in addition to this, we had the B-52 in the air, the Nuclear War Command and Control plane in the air. So something's going on. A lot of planes in the air. Something's going on here. We got the AWACS plane. Another aerial refueler. Yeah, this is crazy, guys. Absolutely insane. Just taking a screenshot here for tomorrow's update for people that missed this stream. Let's see. Wow, that's crazy. There's a lot of planes there. Going south somewhere. Fearless One, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Country Christian, great to see you. Lily Highlander, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for your heart to share this with us. God bless all your efforts. Thank you, Lily. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I hope you're having a great evening. Jeff Stalker's asking, how was my day? My day was great. So far, it's been going good. Can't complain. Hope your day was good. Marcia says, tomorrow is my birthday. They better hold off the war until I'm a year older. Minister Slifko says Greg Nesquehoning and New Columbus Water Authority was hacked by Iranians yesterday. That's interesting. Wow. Nesquehoning of all places. That's like in the middle of nowhere. That's where the coal mine museum is. I've actually done a video on that coal mine museum. The number 9 coal mine. It's pretty cool. It's in my I think it's in my travel playlist. Um, Earth Angel Anna, great to see you. Um, so let's continue with the news here. Still a lot more news to get through. It's just nonstop news, guys. It's insane. Let's see. Poland is moving a battalion of combat engineers to the border with Russia and Belarus in northeastern Poland, in Augustów, which is in northeastern Poland. They're moving a battalion of combat engineers. So that's pretty interesting. Combat engineers, they specialize in like demolitions and stuff like that, which, if let's say Russia or Belarus were to try to invade Poland, they could blow the bridges over there. There's a lot of bridges and roads there that go over swamps, and they could blow those bridges, and it would make it harder for them to get into Poland, because the northeastern part of Poland is very swampy and boggy. It's all flat, boggy area. So here we have tweets from Central Command at approximately 2:15 p.m. on December the 3rd. 15 122 millimeter rockets originating in Iraq were fired at the U.S. base Rumalan landing zone in Syria. There were no injuries to personnel or damage to equipment. But look at this, what they did here. You see, this is a fuel truck. And what they did was they cut the top of the fuel truck and they put the launch tubes in the fuel truck. So it basically camouflages this thing, and it doesn't look like it's a rocket truck, like a grad launcher. You can see from, satellite, oh, this is a grad launcher with the rocket tubes and everything. But they were smart. They put the rocket tubes in this fuel truck, an old fuel truck. So, Hamas and well, not Hamas, these Iranian militants in Iraq and Syria, they're not stupid. So another attack confirmed by U.S. Central Command on December 3rd. And then on December 3rd, near Kirkuk, Iraq, forces assigned to the Combined Joint Task Force Operation Inherent Resolve engaged 5 militants preparing to launch a one-way attack drone. Forces responded in self-defense with an armed U.S. unmanned aerial system. Let's see, killing all 5 militants and destroying the drone. So we attacked 5. We killed 5 of the militants and destroyed a drone. I guess that's better than nothing, but I'd like to see a better number than that. It's a little on the low side. Iraqi security forces were notified of the strike and responded to the location, where they confirmed the death of the militants and the destruction of the drone. The United States will continue to defend U.S. and coalition personnel from attacks. Absolutely crazy, guys. It's just insane. Just nonstop attacks. Nonstop. Let's see, what other stuff do I have here to share with you? Top Hamas official says hostage negotiations are off until the war ends. Salih al-Aruri claims all women and children in the group's hands have been released, and says the hostages it still holds are all soldiers or former soldiers. Salih al-Aruri, deputy head of Hamas's Politburo, said in an interview with Al Jazeera on Saturday that negotiations with Israel for further release of hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners have halted, and that there will be no further exchanges until Israel ends its war in Gaza. Al-Aruri claimed that Hamas has released all women and children it was holding, as well as all the foreigners, and that the remaining hostages in its hands are all combatants and former combatants. Israel says Gaza terrorists still hold 15 civilian women and 2 children taken hostage during the October 7 onslaught on southern Israel. From the beginning, the Hamas movement announced that the foreign prisoners were to be released without compensation and that the children and women hostages were not a target, and blah, blah, blah. So Hamas says no more negotiations until Israel completely stops their campaign, which is not going to happen. Israel's not going to stop. So it looks like it's going to continue. This war is going to continue in the Gaza Strip. Hamas is not going to negotiate because they want a permanent ceasefire, and that's not going to happen. Israel's not going to do a permanent ceasefire. I'm going to read to you about this guy in Philadelphia that had explosive devices in his house. This is crazy. I reported on this earlier today, but I'm going to go through it again in case some of you guys didn't see my update earlier. This is just totally insane. A 35-year-old man is in custody after an incident that involved the bomb squad, hazmat unit, police canines, and an investigation that stretched from Sunday afternoon into the overnight hours in Philadelphia's Mayfair section. Police responded to the 4200 block of Cotman Avenue around 1:20 p.m. Sunday after receiving a 911 call reporting the sound of gunshots coming from inside a home. When police arrived, they located the man inside the residence as well as multiple firearms. Officers also noticed large jugs filled with a liquid chemical, narcotics, as well as drug paraphernalia. Let's see, what else? What else did they... The bomb squad was then notified after police said they found a suspicious device that contained 8 smaller devices, prompting an evacuation of the residence. The devices and the contents resembled the design and construction of IEDs, according to a preliminary examination by bomb technicians. The Philadelphia Fire Department hazmat unit was also called to the house to examine the large containers of liquid. Nearby residents were evacuated and fire officials declared a hazmat situation until the containers were made safe. 2 stolen vehicles, including a 2023 Yamaha motorcycle and a Mercedes-Benz, were also recovered from the driveway. The scene was cleared by 1 a.m. They apparently found a pipe bomb, too. So this is crazy, guys. Absolutely insane. Kate of Buckingham, how's it going? Thank you for the super chat. You're so generous, as always. Thank you so much, Kate of Buckingham. I really appreciate that. So glad, Greg, that you are in my daily life with your brilliant analysis and super intelligent commentary. Thank you so much, Kate of Buckingham. I really appreciate that. That's very nice of you to say, and thank you for all your generous super chats. I really appreciate that. Fearless One, thank you for the super chat. Tinker Air Force Base is not on flight tracker anymore. Why? That's a good question. I'm not sure. That's interesting. It's the first time I've heard that. Thank you so much, Kate. I really appreciate that super chat, and I hope you're having a great evening. Let's see, what other news do I have here? Let me see. What else do I have? Oh, this is pretty interesting. The U.S. Space Force postpones the launch of secretive X-37B space plane to December the 10th. Based on the rocket it's riding on, the secretive spacecraft is likely launching further than ever before. The U.S. Space Force has announced a delay in the upcoming launch of its elusive X-37B spaceplane. The mission designated USSF-52 was scheduled for December 7th, but has now been pushed back to December 10th. The X-37B will launch aboard a SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket from NASA's Kennedy Space Center. Shifting launch schedules and availability at Launch Complex 39A were cited for the date change, according to a Space Force statement. So this is pretty interesting. They delayed it by 3 days. Very interesting. And they're going to launch it from the Falcon Heavy. And apparently this is going to be potentially the longest mission it's done yet. It's probably going to stay up there for over 3 years, which is insane. But nobody knows what this thing does, this X-37B. It's a really strange plane. It's actually like a drone. Really strange looking plane. I'm not sure what that thing does. Is it some kind of weapon? Is it a surveillance plane of some kind that they can fly over and take pictures of stuff? Look at this, guys. We have more. Looks like we have a bunch of aerial refuelers here now, heading south, following in pursuit of the C-130s. Look at this, guys. 4 tankers going south. This is pretty interesting. Yeah, something's going on over here. Maybe it's going to Guyana. Absolutely crazy, guys. We got 4 strato tankers, 4 aerial refuelers off the coast of San Diego heading directly south. We had like 5 C-130s and an AWACS plane. Absolutely crazy. Wow. Very unusual. We'll have to wait and see where they go. But if this is going to Guyana, then that means that the invasion is imminent and the Venezuela is going to invade very soon. I mean, if you think about it, now's a good time for Venezuela to invade because we're bogged down in Ukraine. We're bogged down in the Middle East. So now's a great time for them to invade Guyana. See, what else do I have for you guys? We have the latest positions of U.S. naval assets. Let me share that with you guys. This is coming from USNI News. So here you can see here the Dwight Eisenhower Carrier Strike Group is now in the middle of the Persian Gulf. Okay, right off the coast of Iran. Okay. And then here we have the Carl Vinson down in the South China Sea, getting close to the Philippines, halfway between the Philippines and Japan. And then we have the Reagan Carrier Strike Group off the coast of Japan. So we got 2 carrier strike groups in Asia. We got 2 carrier strike groups in the Middle East. So that just tells you where our attention is directed to right now. We got a lot of stuff going on in the Philippines with China, blockading a bunch of Philippine Navy ships. This was like last month. They blockaded an area that the Philippines was using to resupply some of their military bases in some islands. And the Chinese, they sent their ships to stop the Philippine Navy from resupplying the Philippine forces on this island. And then we have the Korean Peninsula. I shared with you guys the picture last night that South Korea released of the artillery bunkers that had their doors open. It was like some island off the coast of North Korea. North Korea was like within view of South Korea, some island, and the bunker doors were open. Those are artillery bunkers. So this way, if North Korea wanted to launch, artillery at South Korea, the bunker doors were already open. So that's definitely not a good sign at all. So we have information about Iran and Cuba meeting today. The president of Cuba met with the supreme leader of Iran. So the leader of the Islamic Revolution, Ayatollah Khamenei, says great political and economic capacities of Iran and Cuba should be used to form a coalition against bullying of the U.S. and its Western allies. The Ayatollah Khamenei made the remarks in a Monday meeting with Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel, who was in Tehran on a historic visit. Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi was also present in the meeting. The Ayatollah Khamenei pointed to remarkable potentialities of Iran and Cuba and said these capacities should be used to set up an alliance and a coalition among those countries that share the same position against the U.S. and Western bullying. With its focus on economic cooperation, this coalition can take a common and effective position on important international issues such as the Palestinian issue, the leader stated. The leader emphasized that the Palestinian issue is not limited to the recent developments in Gaza and its bombardment, as the Palestinian people have been exposed to various types of torture, suffering, and massacre over the past 75 years. So here's a picture. Let me see if I can get a picture for you guys of these three leaders here, these scumbags. So here you have the leader of Cuba in the middle. You have the leader of Iran on the right, the Ayatollah Khamenei, and then you have the president of Iran on the left, Raisi. So pretty interesting. The last time they had this kind of a meeting, Fidel Castro visited Iran like over 20 years ago. So pretty interesting. Let's see. What else? What other news do I have? Let's see. I'm just checking to see if there's any new news coming in about Yemen and the explosions in Yemen. I'm not hearing any updates on that. But it looks like potentially Israel or some other country struck Yemen. So pretty crazy, guys. Some kind of big explosion in a house in Arlington, Virginia. Wow, I can't share the video. I wish I could, but it's insane. This house just completely blows up in Arlington, Virginia, which is not far from the Pentagon. So who the heck knows what that was about? It could have been maybe the guy had a meth lab, or maybe there were some IEDs that were stored in there. I'm telling you guys, get ready, because I think we're going to see some kind of big attack here on the U.S. I'm telling you, there's going to be some kind of big attack, like similar to the Boston Marathon or 9/11, something like that. It because our government is really weak right now, and they're showing fear. They're showing fear to all these scumbags around the world. Lorna says, Juliana asked if you would check for a drone in California. What kind of drone? What kind of drone should I look for? Is it a military drone or civilian? Look at Vegas. What's all taking off? The C-130s, refuelers. Yeah, definitely. There's another. It looks like another one taking off. Another refueler taking off from Vegas. Look at that. A fifth aerial refueler taking off from Vegas. I'm guessing it's probably going to join. It's taking off from Nellis Air Force Base. What's this? Got a C-17 now. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but this looks like it could be going to Guyana. We got a C-17 here. Okay, a C-17 is a heavy lift plane. So, yeah, this could be going to Guyana, guys. If this is in fact going to Guyana, the invasion is days away. I mean, it could even be tonight. Who knows? But if they're moving all this stuff to Guyana right now, that means that Venezuela's getting ready to invade. So I'll keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on the situation here. These aerial refuelers seem to have fanned out now. It's pretty interesting. They split up and they're going in like different directions now, or they're like flying next to each other. It's pretty interesting. Renee says, I'm 25 minutes from Nellis Air Force Base. Oh, wow. Interesting. That's very interesting. Do I see my PayPal donations on the stream? No, I don't see my PayPal donations on the stream. But I'll check right now and see if I got any, and see here. Let me see. Oh, yes, I just got one from you, Ingrid. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I got a donation earlier from Natural Performance Inc. Thank you so much for your donation. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And Ingrid, thank you for your donation on PayPal. So yeah, I don't know what's going on over here. This is interesting. I'll have to keep an eye on it. And we still have this RQ-4 Forte 11 flying along the border with Moldova and Romania. This is pretty unusual, I would say. It's flying just perfectly north to south, along the side of Crimea here. Boeing is out of the E-4B Doomsday Plane replacement competition. That's very interesting. Boeing is no longer in the running to build the Air Force's E-4B Nightwatch Doomsday Plane replacement, leaving Sierra Nevada Corporation as the only known remaining competitor. In a statement to Breaking Defense on Friday, a company spokesperson confirmed that the aerospace giant's bid is no longer under consideration by the Air Force. Reuters first reported Boeing's elimination. We are approaching all new contract opportunities with added discipline to ensure we can meet our commitments and support the long-term health of our business. We remain confident our E-4B replacement approach is the most comprehensive, technically mature, and lowest risk solution for the customer and Boeing, the Boeing spokesperson said. Our proposal is based on 60 years of military commercial derivative aircraft knowledge and experience, including the design, development, and sustainment of the E-4B Nightwatch, which currently serves the National Security Command and Control mission. According to Reuters, Boeing and the Air Force could not reach an agreement on data rights or contract terms. Boeing executives have refused to sign any new fixed-price development contracts after the company has suffered billions of dollars in losses in recent years. In the third quarter of 2023 alone, Boeing logged nearly a $1 billion charge for its defense division. In a statement, an Air Force spokesperson said, "We cannot discuss an active source selection, and detailed program information is classified in order to protect our investment in this critical capability. So that's pretty interesting. Looks like Boeing is no longer going to be making the Doomsday plane replacement. Maybe they're going to work out some kind of a deal, but it looks like the deal so far fell through. So that's pretty interesting. Let's see. Let me see here. I'm just checking for any other news. Yeah, please remember to hit the thumbs up button if you can. Mary Beth says explosion heard all the way to the White House, roughly 4 miles away. Wow. That's insane. Ingrid Perez says lots of activity tonight. SMC, thank you for becoming a member. And I hope you enjoy the channel. Stealthy 100 says Missouri Ozarks in the house. Jackie M, what's going on, Jackie M? Davis 08. Aldo Schmedak says I see E4s up over the Midwest every so often. That's pretty awesome. Ross Snyderman, I wish you luck on your finals. Yeah, studying is always tough. Studying was tough for me in college. I was not really a super good student until I got older and I had a little more patience. But yeah, that's tough. I wish you luck on your finals, and don't let me distract you from studying because that's important. You don't want to have to repeat classes or anything. Ross is saying I should do a 24/7 stream. Lee S says the C-130s turned off their transmitters. Yes, they did. It looks like they either turned their transmitters off or they got far away that they're not being picked up. The signal's not being picked up. KLW World News, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Great to see you in here. Thanks for tuning in. I'm sure a lot of you guys know KLW World News, but if you don't, check him out. He does a lot of his streams on Rumble now, but check out KLW World News. He covers a lot of the same stuff that I cover, basically. He covers the flights. He covers Ukraine. He covers Israel. He covers all breaking news. He's always on top of everything. So check him out, KLW World News. Let's see, what other news do I have for you guys? This is pretty crazy, though. This Forte 11 here, just flying up and down here. This is, you don't really see this too often. And then it was flying all the way over here near Georgia and Sochi. This is pretty weird. And I don't know if it had its transponder off here, like I said earlier, but this is pretty crazy. I don't know, KLW World News, if you're listening, what are your thoughts about this? And maybe you can address that in your stream, because I know you're probably streaming now or later. But this is pretty insane. But we got something going on here off the coast of San Diego, and I don't know where those C-130s went. They disappeared. I don't know where those C-130s went, but it looks like the aerial refuelers are kind of just hanging out. They didn't go all the way south like the C-130s did and the AWACS. They're just kind of hanging out here off the coast of San Diego now. And it looks like the B-52 landed already in North Dakota. What's this? It's like another aerial refueler here. There might be a bomber up in the air here over the Black Hills, because you have a KC-135 that took off from Spokane and flew all the way to the Black Hills. I mean, that's pretty weird. And this is where you have Ellsworth Air Force Base here, and the bombers love to fly over the Black Hills. So it's possible we have a bomber up here right now with its transponder off. Oh, there's this interesting article I wanted to read to you guys about the new B-21s, the B-21 Raiders. They're talking about AI being integrated into the B-21s. This is crazy, guys. It says, we did look at some specific use cases and specific areas in which AI would be enabled, especially in new airborne platforms, so the B-21 would certainly be in the category. We were looking a lot at autonomy as well, so looking at the test and evaluation of autonomous flight systems, things like loyal wingman and areas that would be in partnership with manned aircraft that would basically be used in various deployment situations. So it looks like the military is considering putting AI on the B-21s, which is pretty scary if that's true. That's like a real life Terminator situation. Skynet. Absolutely crazy, guys. I mean, these movies predict everything. You know, Terminator came out in the 80s, and now the military's talking about putting AI on their nuclear bombers. It's pretty insane. So yeah, I don't know where those C-130s went. I don't know where those C-130s went, but they went somewhere south. They might have turned their transponders off. New York Adventurer, how's it going? Good to see you. Both of my brothers are in college, and I hear it's not a day at the beach with them either. I went to a trade school in Huntington, and I turned down actual college. 2K Gamer says, I just subscribed to KLW World News. Yeah, he's got a great channel. Check him out. YouTube's given him a hard time over the years, but he's got great news. KLW World News says, dude, that is crazy. We'll be streaming shortly. Sounds good. I'll listen in and see what you have to say about that. Moldova is the target, just like we said last week. Okay. So you think it's Moldova that they're focusing on? Okay. It seems like it. Yeah. It seems like it would be Moldova. Quake Bravo says, I just got here. What happened? I guess you could scroll back to the beginning of the stream if you want to catch up on on everything I've discussed. So let me see if I have any other breaking news. That's pretty much all the breaking news that I have for tonight, guys. A lot of stuff going on. Do I have anything else? No, that's pretty much it, guys. That's all the breaking news that I have for tonight. Just absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Yeah, Roz Alerts is reporting that explosion in Arlington, Virginia was heard 4 miles away. So that's crazy. That's insane. I guess we're never going to know the truth about that. What happened there? Uh, yeah, we got something going on here off the coast of San Diego. This is pretty insane. A lot of refuelers, C-130s, C-17. It's weird. Renee says, good night. Thank you, Greg. Aldo says, because Russia wants Moldova. Well, yeah, they're afraid because Moldova wants to join NATO and the EU. But I think just recently, was it like a month ago, that the EU approved some kind of measure to include Moldova in the EU? That basically the Moldova is now, like, I think they're in like candidate status or something like that. I can't remember exactly. I'd have to look, but Moldova, I think they might be like candidate status now to join the EU. So time is running out for Russia if they want to make their move. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they try to go after Moldova. Moldova has a very small military. KLW World News says Russia wants to stir it up there. That would really stir things up for sure. It would open up another front and force Ukraine to move their troops to a different part of Ukraine away from the eastern part. Yeah, that would definitely stir things up. That's definitely a good point. Devis08 says Venezuela may target oil platforms if they get pushed. That would be insane. Yeah, if they took out some of our oil platforms, that would be insane. That would be really bad. Obviously, hopefully we would retaliate, hopefully we would retaliate if that happened. KLW says training in California. We have been saying this in Moldova was coming for months. Okay. What about the C-130s that went further south? They went off the tracker. The C-130s just went directly south, and then they disappeared. And same thing with the AWACS, unless they're doing training down here, or they just went out of range of the receiver stations. Aldo says that 7 C-130s went due south. 7, wow. I saw at least 5, but 7, that's insane. That's definitely crazy. So I think I'm going to call it an early night, guys. I streamed the last 2 nights in a row, so I think I need to cut this one early. I have some things I got to do. But I'll definitely be back with another stream maybe tomorrow night. If not tomorrow night, then maybe Wednesday. I'll probably go on tomorrow night, though. Dan Zarks, thank you for another super chat. Do you feel like they are starting all these wars to spread us thin and drain all our ammo stocks? Yeah, most definitely. Absolutely. Yeah, they want to spread us thin. They're all working together behind the scenes. China, Russia, Venezuela, they're opening up all these fronts to keep us occupied. Definitely. So we have to be on high alert, guys, especially with the holidays coming up. We have to keep an eye on all these different parts of the world. They could pop off at any minute. Venezuela could attack Guyana. North Korea has their artillery ready to go. We have Hezbollah and Israel about to go at it. In addition to Hamas and everything else, we have the Iranian militias in Iraq that are saying they're going to step up their attacks again. We have Yemen. It's just nonstop. We have Russia, Ukraine, Russia, Moldova, Russia, Finland, Russia, Estonia, Russia, Poland. I mean, there's just so many things going on. I mean, this is basically a world war. This is basically the very beginning of a world war. We have all these fronts opening up simultaneously. So definitely make sure you guys are preparing as best as you can. And don't stress out too much. Don't freak out. Just prepare as best as you can. I mean, there's only so much we can do, obviously, but there's always something you can do to prepare. Just do the best you can. I mean, there's only so much you can do, but it's better to do something than nothing. Lee S says, I love the live streams. Keep them coming. Okay, I'll definitely continue with the streams. I'll probably be back tomorrow night with another one. So maybe tomorrow, 8 or 9 o'clock, something like that, same time as tonight. And maybe this will be a permanent thing on my channel. Maybe this will be like a permanent addition where I do these nightly updates. I don't know if I'll do them every night or how many nights a week, but it seems like people like them. So, maybe that's what I'm going to do. But I think tomorrow night I'll do another one. And I'll obviously keep doing the videos as well. Am I going to cover the massive cross-country storm? Are you talking about the Alberta Clipper? That's the only thing I've heard of, the Alberta Clipper, which is not going to be really that massive. It's just the Alberta Clipper, so maybe a couple inches, 3 to 6 inches at the most, possibly tomorrow night. We're supposed to get snow over here tomorrow night from that Clipper, a couple inches, but then it's going to warm up. Poopy McScoopy, thanks for another super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you very much for another super chat. God bless. And thanks to all the moderators. You guys are fantastic. Mama of Six, Ross Snyderman, K. Paul, Lorna, Michael Gale, T.W. Perry. You guys are fantastic. I have the best moderators on YouTube, I think. One of the best. You guys are fantastic. Thank you for keeping the trolls off my back so I can focus on what I need to do. Before I go, I'm just going to check some space weather stuff. Let's just quickly check the space weather, see what's going on. Looks like it's pretty quiet right now. We have a G1 magnetic storm that could be coming, but G1 is really not much to really worry about. So pretty quiet on the space weather front. The super chat is the donation. You can donate. There's like a little dollar sign on the bottom. So when you donate, it'll highlight your message, and that's why they call it a super chat. It highlights your message in big colors. So Lorna is the bomb. So that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to wind it down. I'm going to call it I guess kind of an early night. I've been on for an hour and a half, but I'll probably be back tomorrow night, same time, 8 or 9 o'clock p.m. With another update. So take care of yourselves, guys. Stay healthy. Sleep good. Drink a lot of water. Exercise. Eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. It's important stuff. You got to stay healthy. If you're not healthy, you're not going to be ready for SHTF. If you have ailments, it's going to slow you down. We now have two C-17s going south here. It's pretty interesting. Two C-17s going south. possibly maybe Guyana, who knows. Country Christian, great to see you. Yes, Dark Winter. Yes, I actually just filmed an episode of Dark Winter, by the way. I know a lot of you guys have been asking me about that. So I just filmed an episode on Sunday. Yesterday, I filmed an episode, and I'm going to be filming some more episodes in the coming weeks. So I should be releasing like 2 or 3 episodes, hopefully before Christmas. And if you don't know what Dark Winter is, that's my fictional nuclear war survival show. I guess you could say it's a show. So I'm like the director and the actor. So it should be coming out soon. Before Christmas, I'll release at least one episode. So that's pretty much it, guys. Have a good night. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night. And take care. God bless, and don't forget the 3 P's: prepare, practice, and persevere.